Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing, Joanna?
Yeah, good. This cold and hot weather is kind of getting to me, but
I know it's okay to feel so-so. What are we doing here? Quick intro for those of there are people that have no idea what we're talking about on this on those episodes. What are we doing?
yeah, so we're sharing our story of losing weight, getting healthier. We're reaching 100 pounds. We do this by intermittent fasting as well as decreasing our glucose intake, our sugars. The long term goal, of course, is to lose weight and to be healthier for the long term. This is not only to lose weight to look good in a picture or in clothes, this is look good to feel healthier as we get older.
Yeah, cool. And we so far we for those of you that have not seen the previous episodes, we have reached 110 together. We've set this goal of another 100, and we're just kind of slowly moving towards that goal. The topic for today, we always have an episode and we have a topic that we want to cover. Today we're talking, for those of you that are familiar with 24 and 36-hour fast and whatever goes beyond that, you can relax because we're going to be covering a lot of that information that you may already know. And if you're not familiar with it, it's the episode for you because we're talking about benefits of 36-hour fast, correct?
Mhm. Correct.
All right. I know you're working on the agenda. Are there like main points that you wanted to talk about?
I think you mentioned them. We're going to talk about, what it is, what it does for you, how to best to do it. And of course, we're going to try it ourselves, you guys, in January. We'll talk more about that.
Yeah, so we have done 24-hour fast before. For those of you that reached the 24 hours, congratulations. I know when you start, um, I always think of it as like, I remember for the first time when I was in a situation where somebody told me to fast, it was like a doctor appointment, blood, whatever thing that I had to do. And they told me to like fast for 24 hours, and it was just unthinkable. Like, that's, you can
Yeah.
actually not shove something in your mouth for 24 hours. Now it's becoming a norm. We do it from time to time. Joanna is so much better at it because she pushes usually 36 hours fast. There's actually a difference between 24 and 36. 36 is actually better for you. It's a we have data points and facts. Actually, had to pause because our dog went nuts. But we're talking about the 24 and the 36. So the 24, there's actually a difference. There's a lot of benefits. To the 36, and that's exactly why we're doing this, because you guys have to know this. If you can just push this by a little bit, which sounds like a lot, I totally understand. That's why I do it less frequently than Joanna does. But I know there's huge benefits to the 36. But
Correct. And
before we
there's a
talk
trick
about,
to it. Sorry, Marcin. There is a trick to it, and I'm going to share that trick with you guys. How to push yourself to the 36.
yeah, and do you want to cover some basics for intermittent fasting before you get there? I don't want to take too long, literally in like 3-4 sentences.
Yeah,
Um,
we will. Maybe let's go through our numbers, and then we'll hit off like, you know, with a little introduction, and then go into
yeah,
36.
yeah. So, yeah, there's actually a permanent segment. I almost forgot. Where we're going through our numbers, and we're just being transparent, showing you guys kind of where it is, whether we're going up or down. Obviously, the episodes where it's going up are much harder to like share and just disclose the numbers. Today we have a good week because we are both down again. Last week we were down. This week we are down.
Yeah.
So, in terms of our numbers, and whether the scale was good for us this week. Let's take a look here. Before we talk about numbers, something super exciting I wanted to share. This past Thursday, we went to a concert and we saw Trans-Siberian Orchestra. For those of you that have not seen it, have not had a chance to experience, it's a pretty cool experience. We took our kids for the first time. It's a Christmas festive show. We had a chance to see it in Jacksonville. Big orchestra, and it's just a Christmas theme, but it's really a rock concert slash Christmas thing.
Yeah.
Anything you wanted to add? I'm gonna click onto another picture here.
Yeah, I think it was an awesome experience. I saw it in two levels. So we went together when we used to date, back in, when we were early 20s. We went to see it for the first time. It was a different experience, and now we went back again 20 years after, with our kids. So it had this multi feeling for me and meaning, altogether. And it was a great experience to see it again being older, as well as, watching the kids be so excited about it and just living through this whole show.
Totally. And we're not going to spoil anything, but I'm going to say this one thing. When we were younger, I remember when we went to the show, we actually halfway through it, we almost wanted to bail, because the show is kind of slow. There's a story at the beginning, it kind of gets slower and then it picks up. If you decide to go, do not leave. It may sound like it's sort of slower at the
Yeah.
beginning, but then it picks up and it's absolutely phenomenal. So that's it. All right, let's look at the numbers. Let's talk about your weight.
All right. So my weight. So I went down, a little bit again. I went a pound and I think 2 ounces, something like that. Um, and that's about it. I had a hard time drinking water this past week. Um, my head's been off too, which I always share with you guys with intermittent fasting. My headaches are really not bad. My migraines went away. This week I'm a little bit off, but again, I think it's just the weather change and our heat is on, and I'm not really loving that either.
Did you
So
did you say you went up? You went down. You were
I went down. I'm
187.
sorry. Oh, sorry. I went down. Yes,
Oh,
I
okay.
went
I'm
down
like,
a pound.
okay,
I went down a pound and, 2 ounces.
okay.
So I'm moving along.
All right, cool. For me, 258.6, and if I look at the history, I think I was 261.4, something like that. So about roughly two and a half, whatever the number was. I'm going down. That's really what I care about. It's not really about the specific numbers,
Yeah.
right? It's just what's my trajectory here, and obviously it's going down, and that's all I care about. So so really good week. And now we can talk about 36-hour fast, right?
Right. So let's maybe first start with fasting, intermittent fasting.
Yeah.
In order to be in a fasting state, you need to not eat at least for 12 hours. In that, from that 12 hours to about 16 hours, that magical time, you start using, your fat as energy, um, and start producing ketones, which then help you along the way to stay clear, sharp. Again, your brain is loves glucose but will take ketones instead, and that's when you become sharp and clear and, ready to go. And it does that because it's looking for, in order for you to get new food. But yeah, so but Martin can talk a little bit more about that. He found some cool information about that later. So you get your ketones, are going, and, overall not eating for 12 hours will definitely decrease your blood sugar, your will decrease your blood pressure, and will also decrease this fat that we store around the organs. It's very important, to start getting rid of that. It's something that we don't see. We see the fat on the outside, but we don't see the damage that we're creating inside. And intermittent fasting can get rid of that. So that's, starting between 12 and 16 hours. After 17 hours, up to 72 hours, you get into this magical, autophagy state where your body naturally starts getting rid of all the bad cells. And this is very cool, very important. We keep stressing how important it is. That's even being used right now before chemotherapy on patients. Um, so that magical 17 hours and on is really good for you. It's good for you to go into that state at least once a week or so, so your body can naturally start getting rid of all this bad things, that we naturally form. It Detox, remember, it's going to detox your body from all this, and your microbe is starting to change. So then we hit the 24 hours mark, and that's great, because then your microbe in your gut will change, and also your microbe is responsible for your blood pressure, for your fasting glucose, as well as your neurons love that time. Your microbe affects your brain as well. Not a lot of us know this, or um, we something that was recently we found out that your microbe affects your mood. So some of the depressive states that we have are actually from not the right microbes in our gut. So the 24-hour will help you with that.
Can
Anything
I?
else you want to? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, so because you threw a lot of acronyms, and for those of you that have followed a few of the episodes, like you know exactly what she's saying. But you're saying microbes. Just for clarity, for somebody that may be new to this, when you say microbes, it's the microbiome. It's basically a combination of bacteria that lives in your gut, right? And we have a whole lot of it. And what she's saying is it's that the microbiome, the bacteria, is responsible for converting the food into energy, like digesting, right? So, and if you take care of your microbiome, the little guys in your stomach, you'll feel better. So I'm just synthesizing and making it kind of painting a simpler picture, right? So that's just what it is.
Yeah.
I don't think I had anything to add here other than I know you mentioned the fun fact that I was actually looking at fasting, just to go back a little bit. The third fasting is not new. It's been out there for a very long time. The way we introduce ways to diet, it's almost like you can think of it as like fashion. Trends change, they go back and they reappear, and it's like no matter what you think of in terms of fashion, you know that it's been out there and now it's coming back. Whether it's the baggy pants that our daughters are now pulling out of the closets, like 1970s, it was the thing, and then early 2000s, and now it's back again. So same with fasting. Fasting, when you really look at it, it's sort of like it came back. It was a religious thing originally. So
Yeah.
I know a lot of people are confused, thinking that intermittent fasting is like this mind blowing latest and greatest thing. It's not. It's been implemented everywhere. We know that fasting, like with any religion out there, is very popular. Same for like the when we talk about 36 hour fast, it was actually originally, when you zoom out far enough and you look at instead of 10 years or 100, if you look at thousands of years back, the Hindu religions and Asian religions, they used to refer to it as a monk fast. And it
Hmm.
was it was called that because monks discovered, when experimenting with food, is that when you don't put food in your mouth for an extended period of time, their mind would get clearer, and they would almost like make an association with like God, and that you're closer to earth. And they used to call it like a cleansing diet, because not only it felt like you felt better inside because of the microbiome, but your brain was just exploding in a positive way. And that's what they said, that this 36-hour thing is like a monk fast. And so it's just being passed onto us now. We're sort of pretending like we're discovering something new. It's not. It's just something that has been used for ages. So just wanted to add that. And you mentioned something about like brain having the preference. Brain will always go for something that feels nicer. It
Yeah.
will, will the brain pick exercise over sitting in front of, the TV, and binging on Netflix? It'll pick Netflix. Will the brain pick the worst food, the ones that spikes the dopamine and makes us feel all excited, or over salad? Absolutely, every time, every day. So it's not questionable. Same thing with the way we eat. When we eat the carbs, the bad foods, the sugars, the brain will pick that, and it will always pick that over ketones, right? So when we fast, what happens is, tying it back to this monk mode and the way your brain feels. What happens is really, the because brain prefers carbs, it'll do everything for you to make sure that that you can go out there and get more of the bad stuff, right? More of the stuff that makes it sort of lit up, right, in a bad way. So your brain actually switches over to this like superpower mode when it knows that you're not eating and more ketones are being released. A lot of people think that like ketones are making brain like super fast. It's true, but it's true for another reason. So your brain is actually doing everything it can do. It's gonna Cognitive functions are gonna go through the roof, because your brain is like, whatever we got to do, everything else to wait. But I have to be super productive right now because this dude has to find some carbs or sugars. So that's it's just an alternative way to think about it. It actually kind of makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So when the glycogen, the glucose that's stored in your body, is depleted and there's nothing for the body to tap into, it'll go into fats first and produce energy out of that, and then at the same time it'll start producing energy out of sort of like the alternative, in the
Mhm.
alternative ways. So like Joanna talks about autophagy, it'll burn anything, like anything in sight to keep you alive. um so that's really it. That's just the creative ways your body goes about creating energy out of stuff that's available. If you're not eating, it'll figure out what to tap into next, right?
Yeah.
And one last thing, sorry, because you mentioned the 17 hours and the 12 and the 17 and whatever, and I've noticed one thing to add, because very often we talk about, when fasting, about like ketones and numbers, like, I don't know what my ketones are low, and I just wanted to say, because I don't know if you did, but if you did, I'm just gonna say it again. 15 hours to 20 hours is where the ketone bodies double. So like if you're low on your ketones, look at your time. Are you at 12 hours, 13, 14? You may not see substantial difference. Push it to like 16,
Yeah.
18 hours, and I guarantee your ketones are going to go up, right?
Yes. But to that, please remember, everything is your body. You need to train your body to do this, right?
Yeah.
We have trained our body to always get food, so it doesn't have to produce ketones. These longer fasts push your body to start knowing how to make that switch much easier. But this all comes with practice, like anything. And these longer fasts will push your body, will teach your body, will create a little bit of stress to do that. Another thing that I did want to just mention, that these longer fasts from 17 hours on, they will help you with preventing cold. Believe it or not, bacteria
Mm.
that's in your body needs sugar to survive. If it doesn't have sugar, it can't multiply. You will get through the cold much faster. I know it's hard. It's hard to think about it, because when we're sick, we want to eat stuff to make us feel better, but you actually don't want to eat to kill off the bacteria, as well as for us women, balancing hormones. So for you ladies that want to get pregnant, for your daughters that want to get pregnant, for us going through premenopause that are still ovulating, going into these longer fasts will help your ovaries be better at producing the hormones that you need. Our ovaries in premenopause get a little slow, a little tired, don't feel like working sometimes the way that they should. But this again puts a little bit of stress on them and keeps them working healthier longer. Along with now going into the 24-hour
Before
fast. I'm sorry.
before you get there, I
Yep.
just wanted to add, because sometimes when I listen to you talking about like hormones getting pregnant, and it's the same thing for guys. A lot of guys are like, it doesn't apply to me. Like your libido, your sex drive will definitely go down. Like the higher you go with the weight, you will feel it. Like it will go down. I can tell you my personal experience when I was 311. It's totally plummeted. Like it's just it's unhealthy for you to sort of be this way. If you're like super overweight, I mean at 311, I got to tell you, I felt like I was 72. So you will feel it. It's directly related. So if you think like, oh, those hormones, the thing, the sexual drive doesn't apply, like totally does. And I did the numbers, I did blood work, and what. So it was all there. Your testosterone will plummet, everything will just go down, and you'll feel like shit. That's the best way to summarize it. And that's really it. I don't know if you mentioned the BDNF, the brain-derived neurotropic factor. It's a thing. Think of it like as an oil for the engine in the car. Like if the BDNF, the longer you go, the more ketones you have, the more ketone bodies you have, the less you eat. BDNF, which is that oil, magic oil for your neurons in your brain, it goes up, and it just helps you with being super fast in terms of thinking. And not only that, it brings your stress levels down. And stress level is always good because it brings insulin and glucose down. So that's always good. And one other thing that I wanted to say, maybe, yeah, because a lot of times when we talk about like not eating, how healthy it is and how good, and the longer you go, the greater, the greater you're gonna be. We may want to be like, we may sound like we're painting a picture of not eating is healthy. That's not what we're trying to say.
Yeah.
It's basically, we're talking about folks that are overweight with more than like 20 pounds in most cases. And all we're saying right now is that we need to get rid of that extra fluff, that extra fat, to get you to some sort of, not a super optimal level, but closer to it. So like, we're very realistic about our weights. Like if you look at mine, when I started at 311 and my goal is our whatever high school weight, 20, I think I have my goal set on the picture at 208. That would be fantastic. That's more than 100 pounds off, right? My ultimate weight, if I ask my doctor, it's probably around 170 pounds. I'll never get there. And if I was to get there, I know a lot of people that lose weight, they want to get to the, especially for guys, they want to break into the 100s. I think there's a name for it. I think it's called Wonderland, because it starts with the one. A lot of guys want to get there, and it's like, once you get there, it's a different ball game. What we're saying does not apply directly, because then you have to really be like, you actually have to count calories, and you have to know where you are, because you have to worry about your muscle mass. So I'm just trying to set this understanding this context, because a lot of times it sounds like we're saying don't eat, you're going to be the healthiest. Like, depending on where you are, if you're more lean and you're very, very close to your weight, pay attention to your calories, pay attention to your muscle mass, make sure you're eating enough protein, 1 gram per body per body weight. So if you're I'm going too far with this, you get the idea. So continue, please.
We also did a previous episode on all this. If you guys look back, you will find episodes about like more or less counting your calories, what Marcin was just saying. So, but I do want to mention one more thing about 24-hour fast. So not only are we getting rid of the bad bacteria in your gut, we're going to work on rebuilding the good bacteria in your gut, but also stem cells get put into your gut. Stem cells are so important, you guys. They basically go in your gut and repair any holes that we have made over time. And that's your leaky gut syndrome. That's those stem cells that are going to go and patch up your holes in your gut to make you feel better. So
Stem
I
cells,
definitely.
time out. Too much, because leaky gut, stem cells, holy crap, for somebody that doesn't know. So stem cells, again, think of it as like Lego blocks, and think of the way of like Lego blocks work. There are different colors, you can build different things out of them. So stem cells are almost like, think of it as like Lego blocks with no color, no specific function. You can take stem cells and build an ear, you can take a stem cell and build a piece of lung. So stem cells are just this universal building material that your body uses. So it's like great, because anything that goes bad in your body can be then, like, those blocks can be taken and something can be rebuilt. Now we're good.
Correct.
Go back to you.
Correct. If we have tons of money, we can go and have those actually stem cells
That's right.
implemented into your gut. But you
That's
can
right.
do it free for 24 hours not eating.
Yeah.
So yeah. So that brings us up to 4 hours. Next is our 36 hours. So I think we're good to go into that.
Before we do that, eh, if you kind of like the material that you're hearing, I know if you're listening on Spotify, you're watching us on Spotify, actually, if you're maybe Apple Podcast, if you're on YouTube, the episodes you're watching are always behind. There's on Spotify, you're 2 weeks behind. On YouTube, you're actually 4 weeks behind. If you guys are looking for like the latest, greatest, hey, what are the updates? Where are you guys? Sometimes you may be watching an episode on like YouTube and we're talking about Christmas, but it's already like a January. Then make sure that you guys hop in. We'll be super happy to have you guys in the Facebook group. It's the Glucose Guardians Intermittent Fasting 100-pound journey. That's where you can find us. That's where you can ask questions. That's where we're sharing more than what you're watching right now. Just wanted to cover that, and back to you.
All right, so 36 hours. So that's basically right, not eating for 36 hours. Um, um, so the main goal when we want to use this is to push our body into learning how to switch. This is the perfect fast to give your body some stress, but enough of stress for it to learn how to go how to switch over into burning the fat that you have stored. A lot of people in the losing weight journey that they have, like us, 36 hours is a really good one to use. Any stubborn weight that you have will push you to get to that level. It reduces the sugar that's around your organs, again, because it's going to pull, right? Like we just talked about, your body's very smart, and it's going to pull everything that it has in your body in order for it to survive. So this is where it pulls all that sugar and fat that is stored around, not only on the outside but on the inside. Another cool trick that 36 hours will help you with is reducing your cholesterol. Because our body is not used to switching over and burning ketones, sometimes during this switch, your liver will produce more cholesterol. And you can see that sometimes in reading, when you reduce your eating into a lower carb diet, people go get excuse me, their blood work done, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh my God, my cholesterol is so high. That's a fake high. Because in most cases, I'm sorry, that's a fake high. Your liver has just been pushing to figure out how to burn ketones, how to produce ketones, and produces more cholesterol. But once you get into the habit of doing 36 hours, your cholesterol actually reduces. So there's been plenty of studies done on this 36 hours eating, and then maybe 36 hours not eating and 12 hours eating. And we really went into a lot of those and research and any other benefits. If you look at episode 17, which we did, was calorie cycling. It went into this 36 hours not eating and 12 eating, and we shared a lot of studies with you. But one study that I do want to share with you guys today is, when this was done, it was 36 hours of not eating and 12 hours of eating. Study done over just 30 days, nothing more, just 30 days. It showed a reduction in overall cholesterol in your body, inflammation in your body, as well as stored fat went down.
Okay, so
And from
let's walk through it. So okay, we got the definitions, and you have the study. What would it look like in real life? It's Monday morning, and let's say somebody wants to now go and try it out, right?
Yeah, so I'll
So
share it with you
what
guys.
would I do?
So I'll share with you guys what I do, which always helps me how to beat this 36 hours.
Yeah.
So when I'm getting ready and I know I'm going to do 36 hours, I push my eating window till 6 or 7 o'clock p.m., which is not normal for me, but I notice that it helps. So I push my window to 6.
So I want to call a timeout just because. Do you do anything before in preparation? Do you eat a lot of stuff, a lot of carbs prior to, or like are you being more careful? I'm talking before you even like start. Is there
Okay.
like a day where you slow down with your eating? Is there maybe
Yeah.
not? I'm just asking.
Yeah. So what worked the best? I've done this all over. I've done it all different types of eating the day
Yeah,
before.
yeah,
I can tell you the worst is if you let's say Sunday is your day before you decide to fast.
yeah. Right.
So if Sunday I go with a lot of breads, some cookies, something else sweet, and then try to fast on Monday, very hard, and I hardly ever push it to 36.
Yeah,
But
makes sense.
if on Sunday I eat my low carb regular diet,
Mm-hmm.
but push Sunday window of eating good things till 6 or 7 o'clock, I can then last all Monday not
Mm-hmm.
eating. And then by, let's say, 6 o'clock, you're already 6 p.m. on Monday, you're at 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
If you really can't make it, that's when you eat, right? But if not, if you think about it, 6 o'clock, I then can get busy in the afternoon for the next 2, 3 hours. And then it's routine to go to sleep. And then I sleep off the next 12 hours, which makes it so much easier because when I wake up, my I'm already at 36 hours.
Yeah. So
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 this is
dinner
the
so
best
dinner
thing that
at
I
yeah so dinner at 7 p.m. I'm just gonna
yeah
again synthesize dinner at 7
on Sunday.
on Sunday. Monday at 7, you're at 24 hours.
Correct.
During that time, you're not eating. That's your first 24 hours. And then at
Yep.
7 p.m., you're going to get a little antsy because it's been 24 hours and
Mhm.
it's late in the day and your muscle of patience is wearing out. Try to punch through that window. If you have to do something like, drinking water with salt, maybe you do water with lemon. I do element, which is the powder that gives you all the minerals. If you have to use something like that, do it, but be careful because if you're gonna tap into something that breaks your diet, the whole thing just goes bye bye.
Yeah.
So we usually just try to have something to drink that out of the list of things that you can drink. And if you're interested in what it is, go to the Facebook group and under files, there is actually a thing where we're listing what you can drink. So 24 hours, and then you're basically pushing through this window that's the hardest, and then you just go to sleep. So you don't, and then you wake up in the morning, and then if you started at 7 p.m. through 7 p.m. the next day, you can actually eat at 7 a.m. the following day, right? And then you're good. You
Correct.
can go back to eating. And when you are at that point, let's say you did the 36, can you tell us more about how you're? I know you have this like a sort of a way of breaking
Yes.
out of your fast. Like, what do you do?
Yeah. So breaking out of your fast, again, I tested. Do not grab all the food you can see. Just because your brain is like, oh yeah, we can eat, let's just grab anything. You will feel bloated. You won't feel too good. What I've noticed works the best, and everything we've read kind of proves this. So I start with a cup of broth. I put some spices into my broth because just to make it taste better. So a cup of warm broth for me. Your gut likes warm things. I know we drink a lot of cold things, but our gut
Yeah,
actually prefers warm. So a cup of warm broth. I give it a break for 20 or 30 minutes. Next, I'm going to take something because we just killed off all the bad bacteria. We sort of want to create a good environment for the good bacteria to feed off. And that would be, and put in good bacteria as well. So we want to do things. We want to put in good bacteria and we want to feed it. So then I would put anything that's cultured or fermented. um, these are all the things that are going to put in some good bacteria into your gut. So that could be Greek yogurt, but no sugar, just plain full fat Greek yogurt. You can do sauerkraut, anything basically pickled with no sugar added. Just take a look at that. I do pickles and brine, and I like sauerkraut. So that will be all that good bacteria. And then you want to feed that good bacteria. The best way to feed the bacteria is to put as much as greens as possible. So I usually have a big container of mixed green salad. I get it, the organic one in BJ's, Costco, or even Aldi for like $5. And that has a mix of all like five different types of greens in there. I eat that with some good lean protein, which usually is like a chicken breast or any other protein. Eggs are awesome. With protein, I put some olive oil on top of that. Again, I have very good fat for you, and some balsamic. So all this stuff combined together will now feed your bacteria. Okay, so you want to line your intestines with a warm broth, give it a break, then put in the good bacteria, give it a break, 20, 30 minutes, and then feed your good bacteria with the greens and with a lean protein.
Yeah, and it's funny because we're Polish, so our sort of way of eating, nothing even close to what we're doing right now. Um, and the thing is, maybe the fermented foods like we knew when you're
Yeah.
talking about like cucumbers and sauerkraut and all this stuff. But even about like when you're talking right now, I'm getting hungry. I'm like, let's wrap up this episode and let's go eat. But it's interesting that your gut, your brain, and your body adjusts to this new way of eating. It takes a little bit of time, but a lot of times when we're like eating in this, I call it conventional, right? Like the way we used to eat with a lot of the flour and rolls and potatoes and
Yeah.
now kind of I remember when when somebody said, hey, eat more greens, I was like, eating salads, we know kind of where we land with that. Everybody, usually it's like a standard reaction unless you're already eating salads and it's a normal thing. So for some cultures, some of you guys out there, some of the things that we're discussing, like, oh, this is great, this is, it could be already in, like, you guys may already eat this way.
Mhm.
So I'm jealous. If you look at like I was talking about like Hindu religions, and we love Indian food so much better for you than the way we used to eat, and it's just that change. And after a while, you don't feel it. I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything I used to eat, and by eating the way we're eating right now.
Yeah.
And the other point was, you mentioned like proteins. I remember when you were telling me about this, like breaking the fast, and again, I'm going to repeat. So it was basically, you said bone broth, something warm, drink it, then wait a little bit and a few minutes, and then eat fermented stuff, and then you said
Mhm.
maybe light protein like eggs, or
Mhm.
and then have your meal. I know it may sound like pain in the ass when you have to kind of stretch it out a little bit, for the first meal that you're gonna have, but I got to tell you, I was in this patient, and I would just take, I don't know, I'm just going to use an example. For protein, I would do like pork, just shove it on my plate with some veggies, and I would eat it fast because
Yeah.
you haven't eaten for a while. And are you gonna die? No. Are you gonna, is it gonna work? It'll work, but you may run into things like, and it could be on both ends. It could be, you could be constipated because you just shoveled a lot of stuff in your gut. But you can also have diarrhea because your body is like, what the heck is that going on?
Yeah.
Like,
It's not ready.
everybody out, right?
Yeah.
So I actually experimented both, like with both, and I like the way you're kind of breaking into it. I still don't do all the steps, but I try to do as many steps as I can, depending on available time and my patience. So I totally agree with you. Try to break in if you can.
Yeah. And
Anything else?
And if you do this break in, you will prevent from overeating your first meal.
Mm,
Because
right.
that is the biggest problem. We overeat this whole
So
big one meal, and
yeah.
then we stretch out our stomach. We feel, like everything is like up to your throat. You just don't feel good because remember, your body for now 36 hours, your whole digestive system was on hold. It wasn't working, and now all of a sudden you woke it up with, let's say in our case would be shoving cold water right in its face, right? Nobody wants to be woken up this way. Your body, your digestive system works the same way.
Your body is very smart in terms of preserve, like making sure you're alive. What it does is when it's seeing that there was deficiency in terms of food and
Hmm.
nutrients, and then suddenly you're like food, it'll try to even like think of it as like a hamster stuffing different things in its mouth for later. That's exactly what your body is doing. It's trying to compensate, and it goes, well, if this guy just went 36 hours, now we have access to food, let's just pack it up as much as we can,
Yeah.
because chances are there may be another 36 or 72 hours. So that's what happens, and that's one thing. And the other thing is the you have the magic juice in your body, the hormone called ghrelin. So ghrelin takes time to, like, it takes some time for ghrelin to react. And ghrelin, when it goes up, it goes, okay, we're full. But that process takes about 20 minutes. That's why a lot of people like to implement eating slower. So they simply extend, don't get me going about like people eating slower, because that's usually Joanna. She eats very, very slow, at least in comparison to me. I go fast in my food. But it's a bad thing for me because when I go fast, I really don't kind of pay attention. My head tells me that I can definitely do more, but then you very often find yourself 20 minutes later, like I said, in this state of like, oh my
Yeah.
god, I've had so much that I can't, because ghrelin now is over the 100%. It's at 120, and it gives you this citation sort of feeling where very often we feel nauseous and like bloated
Mhm.
and not good for you. So when Joanna talks about this, it's like give your body time to react, right? Like it's okay, you're gonna eat, but this 20 minutes is really magical, because it's like eat and then like if you have to put a timer on your watch, just go like, hey, for 20 minutes I'm just gonna sit
Yeah.
here. Very good practice is like in your head, keep maybe this like 80%, like you don't eat all the way up, but like to 80%, because what you're gonna learn very quickly is that you're after you eat to 80 and you wait the 15 minutes, your body goes like, oh, we're good, and then literally 15-20 minutes later you feel like you're at 100. So uh, good cheat code to use
Yeah.
when you're eating. Anything else?
um no, I believe that's it.
Okay.
On our in our group page, we do have how to break your fast information. We do have different information about when you reach that 24 hours, let's say, and you're so hungry. Before completely giving up, you can have a fasting snack, which is like a half of an avocado with lime juice, one egg, a little bit of butter in your coffee or your tea, or a little bit of MCT oil. It's not going to take you completely out of fasting. Again, you're putting some things into your gut, so maybe it won't be that effective, but overall it's still better with that snack than with completely breaking the fast. So always remember that there are fasting snacks that you can help yourself with before your body naturally, doing this a couple times, gets used to just not eating at all.
Yeah, and remember one thing. What is it that we're optimizing for? We're optimizing for to eating less, right? So
Yeah.
even think about it this way. A lot of time. This is now I'm switching to like mental games, right? But a lot of times, let's say we're set ourselves to do this 36-hour fast, and we go and we went to 24 hours, and let's say you just don't want to continue, and like Joanna says, have a little snack or something. Remember, even if you have that snack, yes, it will take you. You're not gonna get to the benefits of not eating for 36. So, like, yes, you can be thinking about autophagy and all this stuff, like fully fledged and fully working. But again, it's still gonna be a win because even if you're gonna have the snack and you're gonna survive until the next morning, the amount of calories you simply consumed is it's so much
Yeah.
less than what you would normally eat
Mhm.
that it's like if you really feel like giving up before you totally give up and like, okay, well, I'm going back to my regular way of eating, try to have that snack, try to survive to 7 a.m. Not gonna maybe get all the benefits, but you're gonna get 75% of the benefits
Correct.
rather than zero benefits, right?
Correct. That
So just
one egg, yeah, sorry. That
Mhm.
one egg will affect everybody different. Some people it won't even make a difference,
Yeah,
you know? Uh, but it's definitely a good way to, like I said, to get your body used to this fact. Teach your body how to fast, right? Um, and remember, it's completely normal to feel very, very, very hungry in these and irritable. Your brain is used to always getting food whenever it wants to. So now you're forcing it to do something completely different. You actually, your whole body, you're forcing your whole body, all your organs to work a little bit differently just because you're not giving it the food that you
yeah.
normally would.
All right. Last thing, I know you're excited about the new challenge. We did the 24 again. What are we attempting this time?
Yes. So, with the holidays coming up, we have Christmas. Next week, we have New Year's. I thought it would be a perfect opportunity to detox our bodies after all this eating that we're all gonna do. We
Yeah.
will too. Don't worry. So to detox your body a bit and get us back into this fat burning mode.
Yeah.
So on Sunday, on January 5th,
Okay.
we will all that day prep to start our fast. So Sunday during the day, don't eat your cookies, don't reduce your carbs, eat your healthy low carb items.
Mm-hmm.
Have your dinner between 6 and 7, and call it. That's it. That's the end of your eating window. Then Monday, we're gonna fast all day up to
Mm-hmm.
that time. When you hit your 24 hours, like I said, look at yourself, see where you are. If you can do it, continue. Even if you have to go to bed a little bit earlier, do that. That's what we do sometimes. When we're really hungry, we just go to bed. Um, Push it, and then on Tuesday morning, we'll finish off our 36 hours.
And if you just totally forgot what she said, if you were not following or you got distracted like I did, we're gonna spell it out for you guys in the Facebook group. So we're actually gonna go through it. The closer we get, we're gonna do like a little preparation. Hey, we're doing this thing. If you want to join us, you'll join us. If not, no worries. But we'll spell it out. We'll spell out the hours. Everything is gonna be in the Facebook group. And I know there's one other thing. There's going to be people that with January kind of trying to reset themselves and recalibrate. It's always a good time with a new year to try to just kind of start with a new you. But I know you wanted to kind of maybe grab a couple folks and walk them through this process and just kind of spell it out, give them a blueprint of what's going on, kind of in your world and what you typically do to get them to their goal faster, right? So is
Yeah.
this going to be around the same time or?
Around the same time, yeah, we will start that off. Grab, like you said, 2 to 3 people, and have weekly meetings with me, and see where they're at. Get them going for
Yeah.
30 days, so they
Yep.
can they can then continue with the losing weight journey.
All right, cool. So 30 days, it's almost like a 30-day challenge where we're going to grab, like you said, 2 to 3 people, walk them through weekly meetings with you. You can walk everybody, just kind of hold their hand and just explain everything as they go so they feel
Yes.
comfortable. Looking forward to it. Can I be one of the participants? All right. So I think that was it for today. 36 hours. We're ramping up. You have enough information, even if you wanted to experiment and start one today until tomorrow. The only thing is, have you eaten bad lately? But then you can just go and wing it and try to go, 36 hours. Not easy at the beginning, but you can definitely get there. If you did 24, you can definitely do 36.
Yeah.
Any parting words?
That is it. Keep fasting, my friends. You can do this. Um, and that's it.
All right. You guys enjoy, and we'll talk next time. Bye.
Oh, happy holidays! Because this episode, episode will
What
be on Thursday. On Thursday, before the holidays. I hope everybody has a peaceful holiday, is spending it with the people that they love and want to be around with, and that Santa will be good to all of you.
And this holiday season, not only Santa is watching, I'm going to be there peeking through your window, making sure you're not eating shitty food. So make sure you're good this Christmas or no gifts. All right, guys, have a good one. Enjoy. Happy
All
holidays.
right,
Bye.
bye.